All right, guys, Ian Garry beats Carlos Prates and now thinks he's going to be fighting for the title? We're going to react to his win. We're going to react to his comments. We're going to react to his theories about why he thinks he's going to be fighting for the belt. And then I'm going to tell you why I think he'll be fighting 2 more times before he touches that belt, if not more. And I'll break down those fights for you, let you know who it's going to be and who I think is going to be fighting for the title, depending on what happens over there. Obviously, JDM is going to be challenging for that belt, and a lot's going to happen. If he does beat Belal, it could shake everything up. But first, what about that Ian Garry performance? I got to give it to the guy. First 3 rounds, he looked great. He was able to control the distance. But man, Carlos Prates came back. He came back, and like the Terminator, he was able to finish out that fight in an impressive fashion. It was a little bit of a Leon Edwards situation for an Ian Garry, where Carlos Prates looked like he was going to stop him at the end. And if he was going to land a couple of more of those hammer fists, get a couple of good positions, and on the ground, he might have been able to do it. I want to jump to the press conference where Ian Garry sort of talks about that. Let's have a look right here. So he spoke to the media at the post-fight press conference afterwards. Let's have a look at what he had to say here.
Short notice fights right now until you know.
Oscar Willer's doing a great job as usual.
Shavkat's knee, that guy can't fight for a year. Isn't that a cool?
So first of all, I got to say, man, Ian Garry, this guy, he loves building narratives. So he keeps talking about it. He's the reason Shavkat can't fight for a year. People don't realize Shavkat went into the fight with Ian Garry with an injury. And even when I spoke to Shavkat before that fight, he was very hesitant in saying when he wants to fight for the belt if he does win. He was even saying like he'd like some time. So I think he's pretty badly done up. And Ian Garry just loves to talk about this. Look at this.
Well, considering that Jack just got a title fight after a year off, you're fucking right. I could just sit out for a year and maybe I'll get a title shot. You know what I mean? I busted up Shavkat's knee. That guy can't fight for a year. Isn't that a coincidence? He fights me and he can't fight for a year. That's a bit wild. And
just to clear up the record, there is nothing that Ian did to Shavkat that's stopping him from coming back. We know Shavkat is riddled with injury. We know he's got some serious issues going on. I think it's probably with his knee. And him and his team are probably realizing that he needs to come back at 100%. It's interesting. I don't think we've heard anything from Shavkat since this fight's happened. Let me just quickly have a look at Twitter or X to see what he said. Because he's been very quiet. I've spoken to his team about getting him on the program this coming week to just discuss it, but I haven't heard much. Yeah, we haven't heard anything on Twitter. Nothing from Shavkat. So whatever is happening with him is either serious or he knows he's not coming back anytime soon. I mean, you'd think he would weigh in on this, and he might weigh in a little bit later. But yeah, definitely. Definitely there is something going on there with Shavkat that's got nothing to do with Ian Garry or the way that they fought. But let's just jump back just a second. So Ian Garry has this whole thing about how he was irate, right? He keeps talking about, let me jump back in here. So he keeps talking about how he was irate, about how JDM's getting this title shot and he wasn't considered. I mean, Ian Garry, here's a reality check for you, mate. When you lose a fight, it doesn't matter if you've had some nice moments. Sure, he had Shavkat in some bad positions on the ground, but Shavkat beat you. You lost. It's considered a loss on your record. This isn't like when John Jones fought Matt Hamill and he hit him with some elbows and beat the crap out of him, and that was considered a loss, and people are like, well, get that off his record. You are not John Jones, and Shavkat is not Matt Hamill, dude. You lost the fight. Shavkat beat you. He was injured. He beat you. He took the fight injured, and full credit to you for what you were able to do in that fight. But you don't get a title shot off a loss. JDM was coming off a win. That's why he got the title shot. It's like me saying Carlos Prates was almost able to finish you in the 5th round today. And then he can go around saying, well, I almost beat Ian Garry in the 5th round. I should have the next title shot. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your logic does not make any sense. I just want to jump over here to this screen right here. And I appreciate you guys sticking with me. The guys, the Who the Fuck guys who do a show here in Australia, nice guys, they have JDM coming up. And they even asked him about Ian Garry. This is before the fight. This is during this week. And this is what he had to say.
And like he lost to Shavkat, and he seems like he's won it. I don't understand. Like it's mind blowing to me. You know, if I had have lost it, if I lose to someone, yeah, I'd be pretty devastated. You know, but he's pretty happy. I think he's just delusional, pumping himself up. I think I think he probably will beat Prates.
Yeah,
in my opinion. But to think even if he does beat Prates, like, how would he? I don't understand how he thinks he'd get the shot over Shavkat when the dude beat him. So.
Exactly right. And that's coming from JDM. And JDM doesn't speak. And even he's like, what the hell is this guy on about? You lost to Shavkat. You had a good start to the fight against Carlos Prates, but you almost lost to Carlos Prates, the number 13 guy in the division. Please don't tell us that you're fighting for the title next. Now, for people that watch the post-fight press conference, they'll know that he is the backup for this fight. But, you know, unless something super crazy happens, JDM is 100% making that weight, and Belal is 100% making that weight. So he will not be fighting for that belt. And let's go back to the press conference, because he had a couple of other little things that he wanted to sort of speak about here that I wanted to react to.
I do feel slightly disrespected about that. I know I lost. I know I didn't get my hand raised, but not even a call. That's why I made sure that if I take this fight and I'm saving your ass again, you give me what I deserve, and that's to be next in line. And if anyone has a problem with that, I ain't a stranger to say no. You know that. I'm not going to say no to a fight. So there's going to be a lot of people chomping at my name and talking about my name right now. I've told you this. There is not a bigger fight you can make in this division. Me against the champion. I have the most media talking about me. I bring the most.
All right, so let's talk about that for a second, because this is another diluted take by Ian Garry that's completely false. Him versus the champion is the biggest fight. So we're going to go down. Let's go down the scenarios here of what could happen potentially. Belal beats JDM. So if Belal beats JDM, we have a number of fights there at the top of the rankings for him. But Joaquin Buckley is fighting Kamaru Usman. That's happening. That's confirmed. And Belal got in a fight or something with Usman on his podcast. There's a whole history there. Don't tell me, and please don't tell me, that if Usman goes out there and beats Joaquin Phoenix, he's not getting the next title shot. Because he is. The guy hasn't fought in, what, like a billion years, and he's still at the top of the rank. Let me see where he's ranked right now, because I'm curious. So Kamaru Usman hasn't fought in about a while, and he's still ranked 4th in the division. Mind you, Ian Garry is ranked 7th. Joaquin Buckley is ranked 6th. JDM is 5th. Usman 4th. Leon Edwards 3rd. Shavkat 2nd. So whether or not Buckley gets beaten by Usman, if Joaquin Buckley goes out there and destroys Kamaru Usman, are you telling me he's not going to get the next title shot over you, Ian Garry? Get the hell out of here. You just almost lost to Carlos Prates. Dude, you'll be fighting again. So, all right. So anyway, Ian Machado Garry, he's delusional, of course. He's talking all sorts of stuff that doesn't make any sense. But, you know, he has improved his game. He's looking better, but he's going to have to fight a couple more times. And by the way, I just want to say this. If JDM goes out there and beats Belal Muhammad, he may have to. Ian Garry is going to be out of the picture completely. If JDM beats Belal, he will. We all know Islam is out there. He started his training camp, right? But there's a reason why the Ilia Topuria fight is not finalized. Now, Ilia Topuria has started his camp. From what we're hearing, it will be Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, although it hasn't been confirmed. But why hasn't it been confirmed? Why? Why do you think? Why do you think everyone's gone quiet? I was talking to Morn Visser about this, DDP's coach, before. He says, I think we all know what the final main event is going to be when it comes to International Fight Week. It's probably going to be Makhachev and Topuria, is what he was alluding to. But Islam is waiting to see, because if JDM beats Belal, 110%, Islam is moving up to fight JDM for that belt. And JDM, if he comes out relatively unscathed, he's been out of action for a while. He's a huge, he'll be hugely marketable. Well, I mean, that him versus Islam, hugely marketable because Islam is a massive draw now all over the world. They can do that fight wherever. They'll probably try to push it for the UAE, but you can put that down in Australia even. I don't know if Islam would travel all the way back here. Wherever that is, that's going to be a huge fight. So then it would be Islam. It would be Islam JDM, and then Joaquin Buckley will probably fight Usman. Whoever wins that will probably fight the winner of that. And there'll be some other fights happening in the meantime. So Ian Garry, you got Shavkat as well, so he might return and he might fight the winner of that. Or Joaquin Buckley, Usman might wait till fight the winner after Shavkat. Whatever happens there, Ian Garry is potentially looking at 3 fights if that happens. Now, if Belal wins, I think you go Joaquin Buckley versus Kamaru Usman. So what do you do with Ian Garry? And by the way, if it is Kamaru or Joaquin for the title, right? If it is one of those guys against Belal, you've still got Shavkat there. He's still being Ian Garry. He's still got right of way to make it up to the division. He'll probably be healed up by that point and ready to go. So that's like 2 fights. That's 2 fights for the title right there. And that's without us really digging through this division and going through all the crazy fights that can happen with the Sean Brady's of the world and the like, who are up there chomping at the bit in that welterweight division. Because right now, you got a number of people up the top there. Obviously, Leon Edwards has lost, but you got a number of people that could sneak their way up there. And Shavkat and Kamaru Usman and Joaquin Buckley, they're in great spots right now for a title shot, right? Now, if Joaquin Buckley and Kamaru Usman go out there and stink the place out, maybe potentially that doesn't happen. But, man, are you telling me if Joaquin Buckley knocks out Kamaru Usman, or Kamaru goes out there and beats Buckley, and the champ is back and he looks great, he's not going to get the title shot against Belal? They're going to go, oh, let's just do Ian Machado Garry against Belal and push these guys aside. It's not going to happen, man. So who are the couple of fights that I think is next? And let me bring this up right here and talk you through the ones that I think would make a lot of sense. And I think it's funny because in a lot of ways, right, Ian Garry, he's kind of accidentally set these fights up because he was talking to Full Send earlier this week. And he was kind of trashing these guys. He was kind of trashing the whole division, right? And now it's like, all right, well, you've just built a little bit of a feud with these guys without realizing it. So let's have a look here. So let me get this really poorly made graphic. And fortunately, my graphic designer is away at the moment, so I'm doing a lot of the graphics myself, but hopefully he'll be back soon. Shout out to him, Ash at Hashtag Creations. All right, so Ian Garry, option 1, option 2. Who do I think should be next for Ian Garry? All right, so we know he's going to fly over there. He's going to make a big hoo-ha. He's going to try and get that fight with Belal or JDM. He's not getting that fight, and those guys will make it to fight night. And by the way, if Ian Garry does fight these guys last second after that battle with Carlos Prates, that's probably not going to be great for him either. All right, so because he's got like a week and a bit to recover, and he still took some damage from Prates towards the end there. All right, so first option, I think, first cab off the rank, I think it's the perfect time to do it. I think this is perfect fight for Ian Garry. I think if he watches this, he'll agree with me that this is great for his career. You know, they're calling him kind of like the legend killer. He's the guy that comes out here. He takes people out. Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards and Ian Garry have had that history. They used to train together, for people who don't realize. Ian Garry got kicked out of his gym. It is time, man. Leon Edwards, ranked number 3. If Ian Garry wants to establish himself in that position, if he wants to say, you know what, I'm going to take a real camp here. I'm not going to do this late notice for Fugazi bullshit where I'm going to then be like, I took this fight late notice, even though I almost lost against Carlos Prates. I took it late notice. Or, I fought Shavkat and I took that late notice. And even though I did lose against Shavkat, I should get a title shot. Let's get that all out the window. Let's get a proper lead up to this. Leon Edwards, Ian Garry, if you can go out here and dominate Leon Edwards and destroy him the way Sean Brady has, man, I think he can really build a real solid case for the title shot. Not this Fugazi crap that he's saying about how he's been promised this and promised that. And man, did you guys see Dana White at the post-fight press conference today? He could not be more out of it. Like, this guy is just more focused on other things right now than Ian Garry and his title shots. So that's my option number 1. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below if you agree with me or not. Who would be your number 1 option for Ian Machado Garry? If Leon Edwards does not want to take that fight, my option 2 for him, he's been talking crap about it. He's been saying bad things about this man. He's been disparaging him. I want to see if I can find the video where he does.
The whole of Ireland behind me. I've got Brazil. I've got fucking America in love with me and divided and hate with me because of other things. But at the end of the day, when I show up, I fight. I'm a fighter who fights the best.
Anyway, the man that, of course, I'm talking about is Sean Brady. Imagine that. Ian Garry versus Sean Brady. The war of the words has started. Sean Brady's after Ian Machado Garry already. He said the stuff that he said, Ian Garry, in the build-up to this fight about Sean Brady, how no one cares about him, blah, 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 blah. So why not settle it? I mean, Sean Brady right now, unfortunately, is not in a position to fight Belal Muhammad because of the way Belal beat him. I think it really sort of puts him back, and he's going to probably need to get another 1 or 2 wins to get in there. Why not fight Ian Machado Garry and put on a dominant performance, shut him up, and then get into the title? Anyway, guys, I think ultimately right now, although Ian Machado Garry is delusional, has no idea what he's talking about, is more likely to fight another couple of times. And especially if JDM wins here, he will be fighting a number of times. Let's not forget as well that if JDM beats Belal Muhammad's going to need someone to fight as well. He's not getting an immediate title rematch. The UFC might even do Belal versus Ian Machado Garry just as the next fight if he does lose. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, Ian Machado Garry, congratulations on beating Carlos Prates. Unfortunately, that last round did you no favors. And yeah, you're delusional, my friend. You won't be fighting for a title anytime too soon. But you got a couple of great fights to prove everybody wrong and shut us all up. Now, I'm not saying that I'm picking him to beat or lose. I'm actually not picking him to lose against Leon Edwards. I think he could go out there and put on a clinic. But that Sean Brady fight as well, very, very interesting. And if he does end up in that octagon with Belal Muhammad, if he loses against JDM and he has to fight him, that's going to be an interesting one as well. Joaquin Buckley, Kamaru Usman are going to be fighting for the title, depending how that fight goes. Or if Shavkat comes back, he'll be fighting for that belt. But you better believe Islam Makhachev is coming to 170 the second that belt touches JDM's hand. Anyway, big things happening on Submission Radio this week. I've got a number of surprises, but tomorrow I've got a new show, Submission Radio, the morning after live. I've got Casey from MMA Fighting, Casey Layden, and of course, a man that hasn't been on the program for a while, Jimmy Smith. We're going to go live at 2:30 p.m. LA time. That's 5:30 in New York and 7:30 a.m. in Melbourne. We're going to react to all the craziness the morning after. Ian Machado Garry almost lost to Carlos Prates, but pulled through to secure that backup spot for UFC 315. As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know why I'm wrong. Break it down, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Submission Radio, the morning after live. I'll catch you then.